It is Monday, May 3rd. Here we are again, questioning our existence in whatever way we can. There's a lot of bad people in the world. I think we can all agree on that. What's disturbing to me is just how many bad people there are in the world. And tonight, we're going to go into a place called Joliet, Illinois. For those of you that don't know, it's right outside of Chicago. But there seems to be a certain amount of press there lately as a Catholic school teacher is in a certain amount of trouble after he was caught allegedly, we got to use the word allegedly, trying to meet up with what he perceived to be a 15-year-old boy. And this is the world we live in where, you know, the internet, things aren't what they seem. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad, but this guy is a fucking teacher. We have no volume on this. This is going well. I guess I can give a play-by-play here. And the video is kind of screwed up, so you'll have to deal with that too. As far as being horizontal or vertical. But this guy's sitting at a McDonald's, you know, hanging out, waiting for a 15-year-old. And the sick thing is that he works with kids. And I guess we're trying to get it queued up here. It feels like a Monday today. It's definitely a Monday. Lou, is it a Monday?
It feels like one now.
It definitely feels like it. I think we have audio now.
You know who you are? Come on, give me your phone. Give me the phone. Come on. Hey, we got a pedophile. We got a pedophile running. He's on the run. Pedophile on the run. Pedophile. Pedophile on the run. Oh, we gonna get you, pedophile. You want us to call the police or do you want to talk? We can go all day. I'm a good runner. I'm 19 years old. I can run like a motherfucker. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Why'd you take off your shirt, though? What'd you take off your shirt for? So you think it's okay to meet children?
Sean, would you in what circumstances would you ever take your shirt off?
I mean, lots of circumstances, to be honest. It's hot outside. Why do you suppose that guy was taking his shirt off?
It probably had like a alma mater or something.
I don't know what he said there. He's being smart back there. He's muted.
Because he was caught.
So he just takes his shirt off, proceeds to run down the street. What I get, was he like playing shirts and skins?
I don't know. This is what I thought immediately, is that he might have had like the high school that he worked for. Like he might have noticed. He might have
maybe.
He's like, oh shit, let me take that off.
Kind of feeling the shame. Never much guilt, a lot of shame.
Yeah.
But, you know, without further ado, I guess, you know, Thad can come on here if he likes, or I think he's pretty comfortable back there.
I'm screwing up production tonight because it's a Monday, so I apologize ahead of time. Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of the Armenian Council for Truth and Journalism. Share, like. This particular episode, I mean, this is an important one because we're starting to air the dirty laundry of the dirty, disgusting pedophile, child humpers, whatever, people who deserve to burn in hell, blah, 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 blah. So let's bring on these guys who are doing God's work and hunting these people down, or at the very least, surfacing people who are hunting these people down. Welcome to the council, gentlemen.
Hello. What's happening?
That wasn't the worst transition.
These are some of my most favorite types of video on the interweb since Google videos. I've always enjoyed these righteous got you moments.
It's almost like Punk's 2021,
yeah.
right? So there's a couple questions I can answer for you when you're asking about why he took his shirt off, and there's a couple funny things here. The building that he was running in front of was DCFS, and he took his shirt off because it had the logo for the youth group that he had just left, which was right next door to the McDonald's that he was meeting the child at, right? And so he was teaching right next door at the school, and he'd come right there from the youth group meeting over to the McDonald's, and that's why he'd taken his shirt off. He didn't want anybody getting the logo from the shirt on video, and he's putting it over his face.
Smart.
So this guy who was doing this stuff, who tell us a little bit about the organization that actually caught him and the guy that's doing that.
So the guy that got the organization that caught him was a group called Save Our Siblings, and it's a group of about 19, 20-year-old kids, and they basically set these guys up on Grindr and that are looking for young kids to have sex with, to meet up with them, and they go sting them. And as you can see, they will chase them through the neighborhood if necessary. So that's what they do. And we also have, Predator Proof, who does the same thing. He catches some pretty nasty guys, to be honest with you. There's always this kind of gray area where you talk about when you're catching teenagers trying to have sex with teenagers but when you're catching 45 and 50-year-old men trying to meet up with 11-year-old little girls, just bring the rope out and skip the jury, skip the judge, skip the police, just come on with it, And so,
well, what culpability does Grindr have where, they try to, always make these apps be guiltless in all of these things, but what should they be doing about trying to stop this type of stuff on their apps?
I don't think that they can really do anything about it, to be honest with you. It's a pretty loose app. You can make a fake account pretty fast on there, I would imagine, as fast as you can make one on Facebook. And Lord knows I have a few of them, So I don't know.
Grindr accounts or Facebook accounts?
Facebook accounts. Nice.
Good clarification.
Nice.
Good to bring that up too, Lou. I really appreciate you as always. Justin, when you talk about Hylka, you had said that he was in the hospital. Is he currently in the hospital right now?
Well, here's the great thing about being white and Catholic in Joliet, Illinois, is that you get to run to the local hospital, check yourself into the psych ward, and then call the police with your attorney and negotiate the terms of your arrest. That's how it works here. I'll just turn myself in when I get off my feel better drugs in the hospital. But the more interesting part of that story is this isn't the first time that he's landed in the psych ward. The first time he landed in the psych ward was when these allegations first came out. And I don't know if you saw the email I sent you from a teacher that resigned today at his school that said that he was blocking parents that were trying to drop the dime on him because he was in charge of the school's social media account. So these people are trying to drop dimes on this guy that he's a predator, and he's the one in charge of the social media account. So he's actually blocking them and making sure that no one sees his bullshit, I guess you would say.
Yeah, and I guess it was just a random catch where they picked this guy up. You don't think it was anything that was specifically targeted?
They had no idea who they had when they had him. There was just a catch for them. They didn't know who they had. I knew who they had the minute they had him.
What has happened to him since?
He has $100,000 warrant out for his arrest. He's currently held up in the psych ward at the St. Joseph Medical Center here in Joliet, and he is basically negotiated the terms of his own arrest. He's going to turn himself in when he gets out of jail, and he's going to turn himself in when he gets released from the hospital. So if anybody who's ever been familiar with the court system knows that basically his lawyer's going to walk him into the local PD. He's going to sign some paperwork. He's going to give him his bond money. He's going to walk right out the fucking front door. You know what I mean? There's not going to be any jail cell for him. There's not, this fallacy that he's going to go sit in the county jail until he posts his bond. That's why he's ran to the hospital. He's sitting there in the hospital because he's hiding out, waiting for the money to come together for his bond, for his legal defense and whatever. And
so why do I get the sneaking suspicion? And this is just my own nastiness about it, but I have a feeling he's allowed to have a GoFundMe.
It's probably set up by the Catholic Church if he did.
Yeah.
So you mean it's even sneakier than that because it's not even under his name where they could even flag it.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I guess moving on a little bit, you guys, you were actually involved with Predator Proof today. and you went and caught somebody in the
Right.
act. We can get that video up here shortly.
So what I
got a runner right here. Where you going, buddy? You're here to meet two 11-year-old girls. Listen, we're making a citizen's arrest. You're going to stand right here until the police come here to arrest you. Stand your ass right here until the police get here to arrest you.
You want to meet some 11-year-olds?
It is not against the law to stand your ass right here until where no one's going to touch you. No one's going to hurt you. You're going to stand your ass right there until the police come arrest you. They're coming right now.
I didn't do anything.
Sit down right here. You're here to meet two 11-year-old girls. Sit your ass down.
I didn't do anything.
Sit down right here.
No, don't get away from my car.
Or what? Or what? Or what? You don't want to go down that route, buddy.
11 years old.
You want two 11-year-olds, not
Two 11.
You wanted two shit.
I'm not.
Two 11-year-olds.
Yeah, we got it all.
Go ahead.
Police are on their way. Can somebody get the police on their way?
Shit right here, dude.
Yeah. This is what happens when you fuck around and find out. I'd hang my fucking head too if I knew I was going to jail on fucking felony charges.
Just please, I hate all the people. Just please.
You're going to jail.
Yeah, you go ahead, get down on the ground. Sit your ass on the fucking
Sit down. Sit down on the fucking ground and wait for the police. We're not fucking around with you,
I'm
man.
not, I'm trying to.
You're trying to what? You're trying to catch your fucking breath. Sit down while the police get here. Sit the fuck down. You're going nowhere.
You got it?
You came here to meet two 11-year-old fucking girls.
Two.
What's this guy's name?
What's your name?
Ethan. Ethan, that's your name?
Stop.
We know where you work. We know where you live. We know who your fucking parents are, Ethan. How do you fucking feel about that? Yeah. You're going up there, motherfucker.
What the fuck is your problem, man?
Yep.
Smile, pedophile. You're on that face you make, motherfucker.
That's a nice tagline. Smile, pedophile.
I'm getting blown up on that one today for sure.
You know, bringing into this, Joe, let's get you involved here. You're over there being so nice and quiet. But how long have you been doing this? How did you get involved in this?
I started doing this about February of 2020. I mean, to be honest, I was a victim myself growing up, you know. So, I mean, the older I got, you know, the more pissed off I got. So I just decided one day, you know, I'm just going to turn my anger into something positive, you know. So, you know, I just started setting these fuckers up, you know, and just going ever since. So,
Dude, that was giggly right there. Just watching that, or so many times where you just like were smiling, it like not even uncontrollably.
Well, it's like this weird, strange feeling, and I assume being there, you almost want to kick the guy right there, and then you're talking smack, you know, and it's got to be a weird feeling. I mean, again, Joe, tell us about the first one you ever caught. I'm curious.
Yeah, right.
well, oh man, the first one I got was pretty boring. It was just like, you know, like 19-year-old coming to meet a 14-year-old, you know, like not that it's any different, you know, but it wasn't really making headlines or nothing like that, you know. But the second one I got, I'm actually not allowed to talk about. I got a gag order on him. It's actually probably my biggest catch yet. The former mayor, I can't say of what town or nothing like that, but
There's no gag order on me.
but yeah, man, you know, I'll get young ones, older ones, you know, it don't matter. It's all
Now, Sean, a couple of episodes back, Sean was saying in California, there's a new law that said that it's just like an age difference. So if you're 19, there's leeway all the way up to like 11 or something like that. Is that what you're saying, Sean?
Yeah, and I haven't even checked back on that story. I knew that it was headed to Governor Newsom's desk, and that was kind of where I left it, and I haven't checked back in on that. I should have.
Well, that's very Thailand of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's interesting to me with all of this, and what's disturbing is that it seems like it's pretty easy fishing.
It's like shooting
I mean,
fish.
would you say it's pretty easy?
I mean, I think it would depend, you know, like some are pretty, hate to say it, you know, but some of them are a lot more intelligent than other ones, you know, they take their time and really make sure that they're not going to get caught. And next thing they know, you know, they're in cuffs. So,
yeah,
you know,
Yeah, it's such a crazy, it's got to be such a crazy mentality, you know, what they're going through. Like they know it's condemned in all phases of society, yet they're willing to risk it all. And they're usually trustworthy people in trustworthy positions, and who it is, it's never who you think it is, you know?
Yep.
As was the situation with Hylka, you know, I mean, and the problem is that there are safeguards in place at these schools to protect these children, and they didn't do that. The priests knew, the principals knew, they all knew, and nobody did anything. You're right. Not one media outlet would even run that video that you guys just ran because they were all afraid they were going to get sued by the Catholic Church.
Wow.
Now they won't say that publicly, but that's the fucking truth.
Mm-hmm.
That speaks to probably the level of intimidation. And I know, even, my home state of New Mexico, we've seen that really over decades where the Catholic Church backed up these people, covered up for them. And it's really disgusting. And you keep thinking with every scandal, well, maybe that's the last one. Maybe that's the last one, but it never is. And you start to wonder if there is something just systemic within that organization that allows these predators to operate.
Yeah, there was a father here at Providence Catholic High School. His name was Father McGrath, and it's been kind of funny. One of our followers has been calling it the Dick McGrath Underground Railroad. And because they move, all they do is relocate these teachers and these perverts and these priests to other locations, other parishes, other schools. It's just one big circle jerk of a cover up, and they need to be held accountable. I'm sorry, the Catholic Church is, just because they got a lot of money doesn't mean shit.
Well, speaking of cover up, I mean, do y'all have an opinion of the Jeffrey Epstein or the Ghislaine Maxwell thing that's going on? I mean, because that extends it to everybody.
Well, I mean, I think that obviously Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. We'll just start
allegedly.
And I think that just shows you to the extent of how high up these people are, right? I mean, you're talking about this guy. Joe got a mayor of a former town here, or a former mayor of a town, excuse me. But, you're talking about powerful people that are fucking sex predators, period. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, they don't want you to find out. They don't want us to find out. They don't want anybody to find out. And at some lengths, they'll kill you.
Yeah.
That's honest to God truth.
I mean, that's obviously a level of danger. I mean, do you ever worry, Joe, that you're going to get somebody who's even more powerful or more connected than that?
I do.
And get yourself into a real screwy situation.
Yeah, I actually do think about that a lot and stuff. But I keep on going and think, I mean, like this could be my last catch, But I'm saving kids, So
yeah,
it is what it is, man. Yeah. I mean, even to put it blunt. So
yeah, I mean, I think I look at what you're doing and it's something that probably needs to happen more. Something that I was remarking on today is that with all the people who go around and they say save the children and they're ready to go march through LA, and they want to get rid of all the pedophiles, but they're not willing to put this kind of work in to actually nab them up. Right. I mean, honestly, the police, the FBI, and everybody only has so much, in the way of resources to do this. So I think, societally, it really comes down to citizens taking that step and saying, no, I'm going to do it. Have you been, so are you in touch with law enforcement just on a consistent basis with all of this? Do they help you in any way? Do they monitor your activity or anything like that?
We've actually been talking recently, and truth is, they want to be more involved. The more catches I do, it seems like all law enforcement wants to do is be more involved. So hopefully it just goes up from here, we can start taking them down one by one,
Yeah. Have you had any pushback from law enforcement on any of it? Have you ever gotten a weird vibe from them, like they didn't like what you were doing?
I've definitely had them try striking me, like obviously not physical, you know what I mean? But like verbally trying to attack me, saying that what I'm doing is just going to get myself hurt or somebody else hurt. But most cops just have my back, they got kids and stuff, so they're really into what I'm doing. And yeah.
We need you guys in every county, in every state. You guys are what the Boondock Saints to me are, but you are real. You guys are doing I'm sorry, it's not thankless. Thank you a million times as a father. Like, thank you. This is what needs to happen. Because obviously the other shit, even the whiz-bang big media stories, we're not getting any kind of justice. Those children, those women aren't getting any kind of justice. And yet somehow guys, regular guys, are nabbing the real predators. They're nabbing people that will do so much harm to your children, to your streets, to wherever you live. These guys are nabbing the assholes up that don't have a red dot on their house. That's awesome.
Thank you.
It's sick. It's sick that you guys are necessary, but you guys absolutely are, especially even now. Like, you guys are absolutely necessary. Somebody said something about vigilantism. I don't look at it this. You guys are watching out like old time neighborhood. You are watching out for children that aren't even yours. You're watching out for parents as well.
Right.
This is anarchy
something
too,
good.
right? This is anarchy, right? This is an example of anarchy, of people getting together and deciding what they want to do about their community.
Of the people, by the people.
Sometimes it's necessary, you know.
You know, I mean, it's at some point the police don't have the resources to track these guys down. I mean, they can barely afford body cams these days, and I'm not trying to make excuses for law enforcement, because that's not something I do. But they don't have the resources, and to be honest with you, I sometimes think they really don't even care, because it's more paperwork that they got to fill out. It's more stuff that they got to investigate. And unless they've got somebody with 500,000 images of child porn on a hard drive somewhere, do they really care about it? No, they don't.
But what if it's worse than that, JV? What if it's like we were talking about, where if it's just that it's such in the highest levels of the echelon where cops just don't touch it because they know not to, that they know where their bread is buttered?
Well, I mean, it kind of leads me to another story. A Joliet police officer was just arrested. This is about the third time he's been arrested now, twice for beating his wife, I believe. But the third time, he just got arrested in Chicago by the Chicago police for selling meth to an undercover cop.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that it's a big old boys club, you know. You think about all these detectives that were investigating Jeremy Hylka. They all went to the same high school that Jeremy Hylka was working at.
Oh man, Crook County is so bad, dude. Crook County is so bad.
Yeah, it's the worst. You know, so, I mean, it's unbelievable that people like Joe are necessary. As a journalist, I've embedded myself with him just to see what goes into this, you know, because for me, from a documentary standpoint, it's very, very, very interesting. It's very necessary, and more people need to see it. But I'm going to tell you something right now. It takes a toll on your life. I watched Joe battle with, you know, it's taking up a lot of his personal time. And so people don't understand that the amount of time that he puts into this project and catching these guys takes away from his family.
Right?
Or the trauma.
Are y'all going to do anything like a long form?
The trauma alone that Joe takes, and I this is just my mind and where I go with the trauma that I've lived. Joe, I don't want to live the life that you're living right now, because you know shit that nobody knows or nobody should know. Is that carnal knowledge of those guys and what their intentions are has got to wear on your spirit as well as your body.
You're right.
That's that unspoken thing, or that unsung scar that you know, those FBI agents that are specializing in tracking down human traffickers and the pedophiles, is the shit that you actually uncover is horrific. Absolutely horrific, dude. I'm going to be praying for you, man.
Thank you, bud. Appreciate it.
But I was just asking about are y'all ever going to do like any like documentary or anything like that, like any long form?
My goal here is to embed with Joe over probably about the next 4 to 5 months to really put together a solid documentary on what it really takes to go into this kind of stuff, you know, and to see how long. I mean, you know, you think that you just get on an app and you click one of these guys and bang, they show up in 20 minutes. But right. I know it to be completely different. I mean, Joe's worked on some of these guys for 8 months, 12 months before they'll show up. You know, Thursday, there's a guy traveling here from Iowa, all the way from Iowa, to meet up with an 11-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and so we're going to be there covering that. I mean, I'm going to cover them all. I'm going to put every one of their fucking faces all over the fucking internet. And I don't care who they're fucking married to. I don't care where they fucking work. I don't give a fuck. They're going all over the place.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome. Hell yeah.
You know, while we're talking about all the resources and doing this, and whether it's thankless or not, it does seem like there's a huge amount of support for it. Joe, where can people help support you? Do you have are you just doing through Cash App? Is there a way they can actually give you money to work on this?
Well, you know, to be totally honest, I always feel bad taking like donations and stuff, you know, but if anyone wants to find me on Facebook, you just go to facebook.com/predatorproofil, you know, for Illinois. And yeah, you'll find me on there. If you want to donate, feel free to. If not, no big deal. So
yeah. Yeah, I
that's probably the most nonchalant, badass like response to that.
You're humble, Joe. You're humble. That's refreshing as hell, man.
Very humble,
it is, bud. You know.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hey, a bigger picture of it. You know, I just want to help kids and have kids not grow up the way I did. You know what I'm saying? Like, they deserve to be kids and to grow up no matter where you're from, no matter what color, you know, all that stuff. You know, you just deserve to be a kid. You know,
So there's something specific that with you in your childhood that you're drawn from here?
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of just grew up angry as hell, you know, angry at the world, fucking drinking, doing drugs, and I just woke up one day, I'm like, I'm just gonna, you know, I'm gonna start, you know, just catching these guys on camera, you know.
Well, I don't know if you heard this, Lou. He is a victim. He does this because he was a victim as a child. I didn't know if you heard that in the intro.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So skipped. Yeah, you never can, like, I can never tell, like, you know, you always have these ideas of what a victim is, and I just never would have. That must have just like flown in and out, like where it's like, nah, I didn't even.
No, pardon Lou's brain. Sometimes it's melting out of his ears every once in a while.
That too.
I have that problem all the time.
He's probably cruising at 50,000 altitude right now, so he's cruising. He's cruising.
It was on Thursday's show already. What are you talking about?
Well, I don't know. He hasn't done our ad for Flickwick yet, but I see it rolling across the bottom. So I don't know.
Well, you know, I'm not smoking today, but I, you know, my place smells a little interesting. So, you know,
your place smells interesting.
You know, so you can just use the Flickwick, light it up, and then now it's a flame that you can light your candles with. You know, it's not just for, because I know Sean is a cigarette smoker. He's always like, oh, you know.
Well, I was trying not to, but, you know, then you started talking and I just had to smoke.
And then it goes in and out.
Sean raw dogs it with the butane. He don't care.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lou.
Thanks, Lou.
Oh,
well, I don't know where you go from there, but you're going to keep going. How many of these guys are you speaking to every week, too?
I'll be honest, man. Some weeks are just more picking up than others, you know. A lot of the times sometimes I'm even talking to someone for a day, you know. I mean, there's sometimes 10, 12 a day, sometimes 1, 2 a day, you know. A lot of them leave and then come back, you know.
Yeah.
So you developed the situation over time, most cases.
Yeah, you're right. It's more of a routine at this point, you know. I know what to do, and that's about it, man.
Well, I saw one of your videos, and you know, it seems like so you start off with text, and then you get into like sending voice messages.
Well, we'll start talking on like apps like Kick, Meet Me, you know, like you name it. You know, we've probably almost been on almost every one of them. You know, and you know, the real sad part is that a lot of these guys, they're on all the apps. You know, like it could be your teacher, obviously, you know, JCA guy. You know, it can be anybody really. You know, and that's the scary part. You know, it just varies, man.
Yeah, we don't want to bust out some of your methods, but I assume that there's a lot of chum in the water first. Chum in the water, and then the sharks start to kind of figure it out and go, okay, yeah, this is what we're gonna do. Now, do they have any tells that tell you area wise, or do you specifically target the area?
I pretty much do it all on my own. I mean, to be honest, we're actually talking about working with law enforcement here pretty soon. Obviously, I'm not going to be a cop or nothing, you know, but you know, just trying to clean the streets up and you know, just get these guys one by one, you know, get them in jail where the hell they belong, and you know, stay the fuck away from kids, you know.
I mean, I think that's something that's disappointing, you know, here locally that a lot of people have seen in my area, that these guys get busted by the cops, they get dragged in, but then it seems like they get let off with pretty light sentences.
Probation.
Yeah, and I don't know what we really do about that moving forward, but it's like a lot of judges are going to have to start making some decisions, and the only way to do that is really, again, for people to start holding their public officials accountable. I think what you're doing is a great way to kind of force that issue, you know, and you know, Justin, you're bringing attention to this, and you know, that's what we're trying to do in any manner we can, because if we want to change the world around us, this is what we have to do. You have to take initiative. You have to be involved. You know, it's like if Joe says, well, he doesn't plan on being a cop, but you don't have to be a cop.
Right.
And that's really what it boils down to for me.
Well, think about this from a standpoint of why these guys are getting probation. I mean, we've had a failure of a war on drugs, right? So we've locked all these people up for petty offense, drug offenses that's filled up our jails. So our jails are full of people who could be out on the street getting a job because they had a little bit of weed in their pocket or they had a little bit of dope in their pocket, right? And these assholes who are trying to hurt kids could actually be in the fucking jails where they belong.
Right.
You know? And instead we're wasting money on stupid shit. you know, and that's the frustrating part right there, is that they're getting probation while guys that got caught with a small amount of cocaine or heroin. And I'm not trying to minimize the drug use, but, you know, I mean, diddling kids, doing drugs.
Right.
Kids doing drugs. Come on.
Joe, question, you know, in your experiences, obviously you've said that, you know, you're a victim. What is your attitude about rehabilitation? I mean, obviously if these guys are getting arrested, they're being thrown in prison. Do you see rehabilitation as even being something realistic, or how, you know, how would you like to see them punished?
I mean, if I had a choice, I would, I mean, to put it lightly and bluntly to some people, you know, the death penalty. I mean, honestly, I mean,
100%.
Even if you touch a kid, you know, like your intentions were to be with a kid and fuck their head up, you know. So, I mean, you should pay the ultimate price, I think. You know, you didn't care how that kid was going to feel 20 years from now, you know.
Yeah, you destroy. Not only did you rob the child of his or her innocence,
Right.
but you've pretty much decimated them psychologically, physically, not even just short term, but long term until the old age even. So yeah, no, absolutely, I'm with you 110%. I am all about capital punishment to the fullest extent on pedophiles. I don't believe that you can rehabilitate something like that. We already saw that Germany started sticking children in their state care with known pedophiles to rehabilitate them. How in the hell? Who is in charge of that? Not that it's our country or government, but I thought that everybody, especially parents or older people, all felt the same way as I did about children. But how on earth did we get there in this world to where that's what we're going to do? Is we're just going to, here's some kids that nobody owns except the state, so you guys try and raise them.
That's
They try to normalize it. They're trying to normalize a situation that's unnormal. And the fact that we spend so much money helping other countries instead of helping our own is ridiculous. And until that stops, and until we start putting money into groups like Joe, until we start funding these guys that can get better equipment, that can get better on their feet to go capture 12 people a week if they have to. I mean, you know, the cops should be paying them. Honestly, they're doing their job. You know what I mean? Let me get a little bit off my tax break or something, you know, off my property taxes, for Christ's sake, whatever, you know. I mean, you're helping them out, you know, and a lot of times, I'm going to tell you something. A lot of times, I don't think law enforcement is that friendly towards this type of behavior, because for one, it makes them look bad, right? You're showing them up that you can catch these guys and they can't. Right. So that's one problem that we have, I think. And as I'm shooting the video of this kid earlier, there's a lady standing next to me telling me her story about how, I mean, she just walked up. She was just some random lady from Walmart who just happened to see what was going on and thought that it was great because she was molested when she was 5 years old. And she went and started telling me this story as I'm filming this guy about to be arrested for meeting up with two 11-year-old girls, you know. And so the stories never stop coming, and it's got to be told, and it's got to be told, you know, time and time and time again.
This is the situation where the term "the proof is in the pudding," ladies and gentlemen, it rings true. Thank you guys so much for what you do. Keep on doing the good work.
Thanks, bud.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate you having me, man. Thank you.
Dude, we love you guys. Anytime. Everybody, thank you for tuning in to the Armenian Council for Truth and Journalism. Hey, let's take our communities back, our streets back. Let's support these fellas.
Thank you.